Absolutely. But look, if there's any more on the Dead Sea Scrolls coming back, I will keep you up to date. But the next thing I want us to get into is so super cool. And we often talk about Cackles says you're onto possible deception. Everything's in play, Cackles. Everything's in play. I know nothing. I just try and jump around 360 degrees all the way around topics, try and look at them from different angles, conspiratorial, logical, cynical, wildly speculating. But that's why you love me, right? And another reason we all like to hang out here, and another thing we all like to get into, is when we look at evidence of ancient archaeology or ancient technology being used around archaeological sites. Well, the next things we're going to get into, it's going to blow your mind. Because I had never even heard of these things before. And these things that we're going to be looking at are called the ancient, you ready? Ancient star holes. Get ready for this, folks. This is going to blow your mind. In fact, it might just melt your mind. And that there, what you're looking at, folks, that on the screen, that's what we're about to get into. Yes, you star hole, ZX.
How dare you?
Yes, indeed. It's not a trapdoor that failed celebrities go down. That's what I thought it might be. Maybe ancient celebrities just disappeared when they were crap, you know? They would just disappear down the star hole. Buckle up, folks. We are going on a tour around the world. And first up, I can't believe it, he's not here. But we're going to one of my favourite countries. I've been there. It's glorious. It's lovely. It's freezing. It's expensive. But dang, it's beautiful. It's Norway and the ancient star hole of Norway. What? Yep, indeedy. So then, ancient mysteries. This one, it melted my mind. And by the looks of it, they had something that was either melting rock or doing something that I think we would struggle to do today. Now, I have many times talked about how they put these crazy looking walls together where it almost looks like the stones have been kind of put together like putty. You know, you can't get a cigarette paper in between the kind of lines in these things, and it almost looks as if these ancient people had ways of manipulating rock to make it almost soft and malleable, right? Maybe they were even pouring it, I don't know. But they were definitely highly technologically advanced. Different to our technology because they were manipulating and taking advantage of and utilizing the natural world around them. And when we start to look at this here, this opens up a whole star hole of woo. Because we're going to take a look at the stone star holes of Volda. Now you can see one there, quite obviously, absolutely crazy stuff. Now, we've got a selection of these things to look at. And like I say, this is new to me. I don't think I've looked at these before. Maybe we have. If we have, I've certainly forgotten about it. But let's take a look at what it says. On the 30th of November 2007, in Norway, while workers were doing work for the extension of a park, it was discovered a hole in a stone which had an unusual shape. After removing surface vegetation and loose surface material, contractors started working on the massive mountain. It was during this work inside the mountain that the hole was unveiled. The hole is peculiar. It looks like a seven-sided star. It penetrates into the mountain. And according to local people, contractors have reached 4 meters into the mountain, and it is said that the hole continues horizontally inward in parallel to the Volda fjord in a northwestern direction. The hole tilts slightly downwards, and the diameter of the hole is approximately 65 to 70 millimeters. Currently, nobody knows how far the hole extends and how it was formed. So the hole had 7 corners like branches and have a diameter of 6 centimeters and was conducted parallel to the slope of the mountain and went into a fjord. So processing the hole was very smooth all over without any bumps or sharp corners. Specialist analysis revealed that there was no sign of vitrification, which would have resulted in a heat treatment to the hole. So research radioactivity was also negative. Now, I'd imagine this has been translated over from Norwegian folks, so if it sounds a bit broken Englishy, my English is bad enough at the best of times, I get it, but it doesn't help when it's like this. So there were even discovered traces of sand in the hole. So researchers have been placed unable to give a clear answer to how the hole was made. Do you think maybe, you've got sand, right? And in sand, you've almost got like bits of glass, things like that. Do you think if you vibrated that, somehow, do you think that could be in the tip of some drill, and if you're vibrating that sand and things, almost works like some kind of diamond car? I don't know. The hole went further down into the fjord, in through the ground, with a 20 to 30 degree downward angle. Now, unfortunately, the hole was covered with mud and has not yet been recovered. But according to those who saw it, it was in the shape of a 7-edged star. And the hole was named the star Volda. And although archaeologists, cavers, have tried to explain the mystery of their effort, it was fruitless. Each test was mired in the absence of one or more pieces of the puzzle. Simply no one could explain how it could be accomplished, such a hole, given its shape completely and very special. And the material was once the hole is not very easy to be processed. I mean, it's granite. So, folks, that's straight into granite. You're talking about some of the toughest rock going. Says various newspapers, both local and national, have been trying to find a solution, but none has succeeded. And geologists, scientists, and drilling engineers across the country have been contacted, but so far no one has come up with an answer on how to make this hole was made. And the hole was found by a construction worker working on removing bits from the mountain in order to make room for a building project. And after digging a couple of meters into the mountain, it's just giving us the same story there. So it says many theories have been presented on the origin of the hole. Some have suggested a divine intervention, UFOs, weathering mineral ores, hammer drills, and unbalanced drilling heads. But so far, no one has been able to show reference to similar holes. So nobody can reproduce that hole with any of the techniques that were listed there. So local legends circulating among people living in the area, and this is where we're going to get closer to the truth probably, right? Say that on certain days over several years in the area, where the hole is a vapor that emanates a yellow, green, or orange, or reddish light. Of course, this was before the discovery hole, or the discovery of the hole, when people did not know of its existence. So you've almost got this shaft of light, or shaft of something coming out of this hole in the mountain. Tell me this ain't good word. Tell me it's not. So, of course, it goes on to say, the origin of the star-shaped hole in Volda is probably not as mysterious as speculations would have it be. Several local blacksmiths have revealed that the star-shaped holes were, quite simply, in the old days. This happened a year later after the discovery of the hole in 2008. They say that the hole in Volda was drilled in the 1930s, and that there are even more holes similar to the one in Volda at other locations. And the holes were created when the workmen used a six-sided drill head to carry out mountain drilling. However, there are people who question this solution, but as of now, likely conclusion is that the hole was made by human workers no more than 80 years ago. But what is certain is that scientists and engineers have not yet given a verdict on the origin of the hole. So this is one here. It says, if you appreciate this, yeah. So I'll give the link to this in the chat room. ZX, I'm with you, but we've got more to look at here because it's not just this one. It is not just this one, because now we're going to go to the northeast of the US. And the Pentagon and star holes at Flint, Quarry, Monson, and Emmy, Massachusetts. I'll take a guess at that, only because I read it earlier. So it says, the Flint Quarry in Monson, Massachusetts, is the largest collection of unusual quarry drill marks known today as star holes. The five-pointed version of the star hole is sometimes called a pentagonal hole. A number of examples may be found on the smooth white bedrock floor of the easternmost section of the quarry. These may be examined safely without any rock climbing. And star holes are quite rare. Currently, only a small number of other examples have been reported from locations in New England. And a single example was found in one of the large stone blocks forming the breakwater on the southern side of Ordeon Point in Rye, NH. I'm useless with these kind of things. New Hampton, maybe? Possibly. One star hole and 3 round 3-inch diameter blast holes were drilled into a glacial erratic in the Johnstown Forest in Richmond, maybe? One example from Newbury, Massachusetts, at least one example from Hoosac Tunnel, and one example from guano-covered boulder in Little Pleasant Bay on Cape Cod. So we're going to come down here, right, and I'll show you what we're looking at here. There we go. There's another one. Now, we started off with a 7-sided one, remember? Now we've moved over to North America, and we are getting 5-sided ones, or pentagonal holes. So here's your map here. Shows you you've got the star holes are down here. And if we just read this one, it says star holes are holes drilled in rock that when viewed from the top looks like a 5 or 6 pointed star. Oh, Susie, thank you very, very much. Much appreciated. Billy Joe! Yay! And I was right. New Hampshire. Did I call it New Hamptons? Hey, Hampshire, Hamptons. It's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, pretty cool. But it says here, star holes drilled from the top look like a 5 or 6 pointed star, or 7, as we've seen in Norway. Now, the points of the star holes can be either rounded lobes or V-shaped points with rounded tips. And the rounded points are actually longitudinal grooves inside the drilled hole. Now, the grooves spiral inside the hole, giving the hole the appearance of being the inside of a rifle barrel. So it's actually twisted all the way down. These grooves can be seen in some of the large vertical drilled holes found on the walls of Flint Quarry. These may be safely observed by walking along the base of the quarry walls. And these holes were used to separate large blocks of rock from the bedrock by blasting. So they're actually saying that this is something that we've done quite recently then. We've been able to do this. Are we buying that? Are we? Well, look at this one here. So 6-pointed. That's a 6-pointed one in there. And wow, look at this one. Then we've got a close-up showing the rifled channels. So you can basically see how it is kind of going down there. You can see the rim of it there. Previous research, it says, a search on the historic literature on quarrying and mining failed to locate any references to this rifling effect in machine drilled holes used for blasting. However, the search did uncover a detailed discussion of the rifling effect in core sample drilling. Although blast hole drilling and core sample drilling use two different types of drill bits, both have produced similar types of rifled holes. Therefore, the research on core drilling is applicable to quarry star holes. In the early 20th century, the rifling effect was occasionally observed on rock core samples obtained using diamond drills. And diamond drills had a drill bit in the shape of a pipe coupling, which was studded with a number of industrial diamonds. Now, the bit was hollow, allowing for a cylindrical core of rock to be cut loose and removed from deep within the test hole. So that kind of makes sense. But if we then come over here, so we're talking about diamond drills in the 20th century there, right? That's what they're talking about. It's an effect that they've seen there, okay? It says the phenomenon of rifled cores are due to toroidal vibration of drill rods, which in turn is produced by the rotation of the rods. The cutting medium attached to the rods engage with the core, penetrating to a certain depth, and thereby temporarily checking the rotation of the rods. So it's talking about how that actually, they know about it, right? But then we come, and we could look at that one again from Norway, this one. No idea, there's no talk of anyone using diamond drills there. Nobody knew about the dang thing until people uncovered it. So does that mean they had diamond drill bits in ancient times? And if you come over here, we've only scraped the barrel, folks. There's absolutely bajillions of these things, because you've got a series here of the star holes, also known as cloverleaf holes, are holes found in many different types of rock and come with equally spaced lobes protruding from the hole walls, and the lobes commonly rotate and the holes curve. So are we talking about diamond drills in ancient times? I mean, that's not the first time we've talked about that kind of thing. You look at the big massive rocks that they've been cutting all across the world in ancient times, from Egypt all the way to Mexico, up to China, all everywhere, right? They definitely had some kind of rock working ability, knowledge, high knowledge. Who gave them that? So we come down here, and we've got the Star Hole Gallery. There's a whole heap of them down here. Now this one here, I'm going to show you this. If it loads up, it's that good a picture. It takes a little minute to load, but it's worth looking at. In fact, it's pretty amazing, to be honest with you. You see it slowly revealing there. That's like when you had a ZX81. That's what my first computer looked like, only really fast. Anyone remember that, when you had a computer and it was loading the graphics? Line by line. Oh man, can you imagine youngsters having to go through that today? Dang, dude. So yeah, you've got that there. Look at that. That's pretty spectacular, right? I think it is, anyway. That's a totally different one again. Totally different. And why? You know, I can understand the quarrying ones, but when you've got them on cliff faces and things like that, I don't know. If we come back here, though, I think there's maybe a video or two we can watch. You see, we've got them in Arizona as well. That one we looked at was Arizona. More of them down here. That one, Oregon. That's pretty cool.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Hey, ZX.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Yeah, so that's Oregon. Let's see what else we've got. There's one down there. Zion National Park in Utah. I mean, some of these are just into cliff faces, you know? Just randomly in there. Well, that, why for? What for? Why drill out that? Yeah, you come here for woo, folks. I'll tell you, I'll give you woo, all right. Miscellaneous. This has come from the Project Avalon forum. I like Project Avalon forum, not Project Scamelot forum, but Avalon forum, very good. Yes. Hang on. Now, Andy's saying he can make these holes no problem. That, my friend, I absolutely have no problem believing. How did they make them like donkeys ago? How did they find them in like Norway? And where's he gone now? He's drawing a hole in the rock. Sent a whole heap of videos here. But Andy's going to make us that hole. I think he's done it. I think he's actually made us that hole.
This is called a ruby orifice. The hole inside it.
Right, hang on, folks. I'm going to get this captured. Hang on. Need to get all this captured. I'll put it on the screen. Wait, we see this. This is going to be pretty cool. Right. Add in. We see. I'll get it going, folks. Don't you worry. I'll get it up here. Here we go. Play capture. Right, that there. Right then. Let's see. Make this bigger. He's cutting one right now. Andy's actually cutting one right now. Check this out, folks. I'll play these videos. How cool is this? Come on. How cool is this, right? Here we go.
So this is what they call garnet. It's a different mixture of different types of sand and sediment mixed together, and then it's shaken until it's the exact diameter. So all these pieces of sand are in an exact diameter, the same as one another. So there's your first part. This is what we cut with in our shop.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Next part.
This is a high pressure pump.
How cool is
designed
that?
to hit 80,000 psi. It has a 10 horsepower motor running 440 power.
This is cool. This is cool. So are we thinking then, and I'll ask Andy, do you think they were doing this back in ancient times? Do you think this is something that, this ain't new, this is something old? Very, very old. Okay, we've got ways of doing it now with our technology, but they obviously had a way of doing something similar maybe in ancient times, right? What do you think? And that goes out to everyone out there. Or do we think that all these holes that we're looking at here could be more common or more modern than some people give them credit for? So we'll play this, and I'll try and find some more examples, and I'll try and find some dating. Maybe that hint to some of them being ancient, because then if we do definitely get some that are looking pretty ancient, that means we can definitely kind of say, look, it's one thing saying we think they had like diamond cutters and technology, but if we can show it being reproduced today, that's pretty cool, you got to admit.
2 high pressure filters, and this thing is called the Intensifier. So there's a piston that strokes in between these 2 sides and fills up water on this line right there, and this is the water in. So this is the water in, that's the water out, and inside of here that's a huge hydraulic cylinder that moves really slow and pushes water through that cylinder until it hits what they call an orifice.
Indeed, I bet it does. Dang, don't you love this dude? He's way clever, and here we go.
This is called a ruby orifice. The hole inside of that is 0.010 big. To inspect it, you need to look at it underneath the microscope. But this one's broken. But I got like hundreds of these. So I got a bunch of rubies if anyone wants one.
I've got an anti-ruby and my mum's pearl. Bizarre family I have, I know.
This is called a mixing tube. Oh, there you go. All right. So the water comes from above that ruby into this thing, and it compresses the water and the sand through a mixing chamber. And this is the mixing tube. So the mixing chamber is right above this. It goes through this thing, and this is carbide, and creates 80,000 psi of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure, man.
So these are called water jets. You can cut anything in the world with these. You can cut anything in any thickness with both of these. It's kind of hard to explain exactly how the exact working of it, because if you don't understand high pressure and garnet and all that stuff, it won't make a lot of sense. But basically, this is where the sand comes down, mixes in this mixing chamber right here. That's where the tip is underneath this rubber ball, and that little ruby is inside of here, right about there. And now water pressure comes in from this line at 80,000 psi into this 90, and this valve opens up and lets that water come down through here. And as it comes down through here, it hits about Mach 2 in speed. The water will hit Mach 2 in speed coming down through that mixing chamber and pull sand out of this thing. It's called a hopper. And all that sand that you saw was what goes in here and gets mixed.
Dang, how cool is this? There's 2 more folks.
This is 1/2-inch stainless steel. These are just pieces that have been cut out of this piece. But this is like 1/2-inch stainless.
Whoa.
Much, much, much harder than granite. And our machines will cut this perfectly smooth. That's just a lead in, lead out. But our parts will be perfectly smooth when they cut them out of here. I know that's only 1/2 inch, but I can do 7 inches thick. So.
Not what your wife says, Andy. Oh! I'm only joking.
So here's your Star of David, if you will. I'm going to cut this in a piece of rock. It's not granite, but believe me, I can cut granite like no problem.
This is awesome. This is proper awesome. Is there any more come through since then? I've got that one. But Andy, thank you so much for that, bro. And yeah, man, I'm going to be wrapping up in about 5 minutes because I need to get ready for the next show later, and Anne coming in. But dude, that is tremendous, and that's cool because that's a pretty technological process that we just had Andy take us through there, and that certainly shows the ability that we've got for cutting not just through the granite, but like he said, there's stainless steel. But then when we come here to some of these star holes, are they all modern? That's the question. And here's the Norwegian one. And it is there. You got kind of. It is. I mean, look how smooth it is. Very, very, very similar to what we've just looked at there. Were they doing this in ancient times? Did they have a way of doing what Andy was doing there? And they always say nothing new under the sun, right? And we probably think, wow, look at what we're cutting today. And then I offer to you, well, look at what they were cutting back in the day. Kind of crazy. There's one the other way there, look.
Vaguely, we're making out some kind of figure here.
Okay. Here's another really good example of what I call prehistoric engineering. We're looking at one of thousands of 5-point star drill holes that are drilled all the way through solid rock. This particular one is filled with sand, but I have other samples where other photos and slides where you can see the borehole drilled all the way through, in one case, a 12-foot long block of stone, but most peculiar, the borehole curves and twists inside the stone. We can't...
The rifling effect. Come on, we all know about that now. We're all experts in stone masonry. Lothar will be doing cartwheels when he hears me saying that. I tell you what, we are so lucky to have Andy about here, honestly. Tremendously lucky. Because I think that's probably one of the coolest kind of streams we've done in a while. You look at in my opinion, there's definitely modern and ancient examples of these star holes, right? And if they were, and think of even like the big blocks in Egypt. Where's that place? What's the name of the place? I'll just put big blocks. Egypt. Baalbek, is it? You know, even when it comes to cutting things, I mean, look at that thing. That's ridiculous, right? But not if you've got technology like what Andy was just showing us there. And if they had that technology back in the day. Now, Andy, when you look at something like that, brother, does that say to you that they had something pretty special going on back then? It sure does to me. Sure does to me. Well, we've got another video come through. Hang on. Going back to the video. Here we go. Look at that. That is absolutely tremendous. And you've seen that star there getting cut, just the one that we'd seen on the screen, I would imagine. 3D type computer assisted cutting up things. What's the actual technical name for what you're doing there, Andy? What would be the technical name for that? Because that's pretty cool, dude. Really, really super cool. But again, how did they get doing things like this then back in the pyramids and that? You have to wonder, don't you? You have to wonder what technology they were using. Again, I definitely think today's been pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. You look at that. Another one. Here we go.
Alright, homie. There you go. Now, I have a theory on your rifling. Woo! There you go. If someone wants this, let me know. I'll send it out to you.
That is absolutely... This would be considered CNC equipment, computer numerically controlled cutting assistance. Or blah, blah. Yeah, CNC. I like that one. CNC is definitely a bit snappier, dude. Guys, girls, that is tremendous. I had no idea today when I had dug up what I thought was going to be already pretty cool woo when you look at something just like that. But never in my wildest speculation, island rantings, did I think that during this stream we would have a good friend of ours, Andy, I love you so much, man, do that for us right there. I think, ladies and gents, you know, that pretty much is on a par, right? pretty on a par. We'll try and get it playing again. I'll pause it where we see it good.
All right, homie. There you go. Now, I have a theory on your rifling.
There we go. Yeah, we'll get it back flatter. There we go. That'll do. If I bring up some of these other ones here, keep that up there. Keep that in mind. We'll go back and look at some of these ones. Where'd I put them? I'll just type in star holes. There we go. So we've got that. Look at that. So you got that there. And we'll come to something like that there. Absolutely tremendous, man. Tremendous. Oh, am I a happy boy right now? Yes, indeedy. Dang, I was saying, you know, before this all started out, this ain't a show. It's just chilling out. We don't get into anything too important here. Not really. Oh, dang. You know, other shows would be making a pretty big song and dance about this, and maybe we should start making a song and dance about what you people are bringing to the party here. I came along with a puzzle piece, and Andy literally made it. And what does that mean, folks? What does that mean? Does that mean that they had that technology in ancient times? Because I think so. Now, was it coming from a computer the way Andy done it? I think that might be a stretch too far. But I do think they had something that was doing it. So is it a stretch too far? Did they have some kind of computing? I don't know. Where's the evidence for that? But then 2,000 years from now, yes, Sam, I know. It's you think how hard it is for a Scotsman not to have made so many jokes already by now. Please, you know, it's been absolutely. I've been having to bite my tongue several times throughout this stream. I have, but I'm glad I have, because it would have taken away from what I think is some really, really interesting information right there. I offer you today's offering from Andy against that one up there from ancient times. Yes, indeedy, folks. I'm going to be back at 10 o'clock. I think we'll be simulcasting. I've got a lot of magnetic stuff to get into. I've got a lot of woo to get into. And I'll be opening up the phones as well. So I think we'll all reconvene here at 10 p.m. in the UK, an hour and a half from now. And that is 5 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast. I think all of us really need to give a big round of applause to Andy. Absolutely tremendous. Dude, I'm smiling from ear hole to ear hole. And not a mention of a star hole anywhere. I done it. I managed to get there without taking the tone of this earth-shattering, rock-exploding stream that we just done. I think Andy just gave us a real kind of taste of the fact that what we're doing today with our very cutting-edge technology, what a shit pun that was, they were most certainly doing back in yonder times. Back in times where the archaeology and the evidence that's been unearthed is often what they call forbidden. Why forbidden? Because of what we've just seen today. They don't want people asking questions about ancient star holes and then geniuses like Andy coming along and going, oh, this is how they would have been able to do that. And then the people would have gone, but that's a couple of thousand years old. How could they do that back then? And all of those archaeologists that have clung on to their careers and helped to maintain this false timeline of our story. You know, I think the walls would start to come down and people would start to get a glimpse into the real magic and mystery of the ancient world. These people weren't primitive, far from it. We're only probably starting to get back to where they were. In our own way, our own form of technology today, we're only starting to regain stuff that we knew a long, long time ago. And this story goes back way further than even the monuments that we all know and love today. I wonder how many cycles there truly has been and how many layer upon layer that we don't even know about yet. Or even more evidence of technology rising and falling, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's the cyclical nature of everything. It's the rifling effect that history itself goes through. So until next time, folks, keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. And no, never too soon, Polly. Never too soon. And yes, for once, it quite possibly was the Masons.